Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to the 16th episode of our Prep Talk series. This week we have started with a slight twist. We thought why not move away from the MBA preparation altogether and just show you the real picture behind what happens in a B school, what is your journey like post your MBA, and what kind of success stories you can create with the help of an alumnus who is from one of the premier B schools in the country. So, as I have said before we start, if you want to view our previous sessions of our prep talk, we have given it on the YouTube description. Please go to our YouTube page and you can click on the links and you can see the previous episodes. For now, I'm Sucharita Banerjee and I would be the host today. Behind the scenes is Vivek Shankaran. He will be answering all your chat questions. If by mistake anything misses out, please don't feel bad. We will definitely get back to you after the session. And today we have a very special guest with us. He is one of the renowned IIM Ahmedabad alumnus. He is an illustrious entrepreneur, startup evangelist, and a person who is known to be famous for his being a mentor of the startup community. Ideally or generally called as a network king, he is none other than Pranay Gupta, the co-founder of 91 Springboard. Now, 91 Springboard is one of the co-working communities in India. It's the largest co-working communities in India, which helps a lot of startups and entrepreneurs to share their ideas in a dynamic community space, and they are also a very famous incubator. So, Pranay, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure to be here, and I must confess that's I think the maximum number of adjectives I've ever heard before.
No, but you truly deserve it.
No,
Speaking to the you guys again, so please hang on there. We have a very special session tonight. We'll be discussing the critical factors which are necessary in an MBA journey, and also we will also be sharing along with Pranay. We will be discussing about some how can you make some personal success stories post MBA, and we will finally finish it with this small strategies of how you can actually map your career journey. So, again, without wasting time, Pranay, first I would like to ask you your days from IIT, because you have been an IIM Ahmedabad alumnus, and at the same time, before IIM Ahmedabad, you also hold a dual degree from IIT Delhi,
yes.
which is one of the finest institutes in India. Now, what I want to know is what I want to know is that this engineering is something which basically it's imprinted on us by our parents right from the time I think we are born. Like our fate is usually decided as quoting from the Three Idiots movie that either you become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. So, but then there are also other stories which are involved with it. After engineering, you need to go
Sure.
through a very long journey, which involves a lot of risk, a lot of challenges that you take up to actually form a prolific success story. So let's start with your IIT days. Can you shed some light with us on that?
Sure. So, and what I'll do is I'll start with even one step before that, if you
Sure.
don't mind, right?
Sure.
So, honestly, I am probably like majority of the listeners of this, right? I also belong to a middle class family. Honestly, I'm a Bania, and when I was growing up, I genuinely thought we were very poor. We weren't that poor. Now I know that. But because I was a Bania and you know how parents are, they'll not give you money for everything easily, etc. I just grew up thinking I was very poor. Uh, I think, and I'll connect to how sort of that connects to my career. But basically, I was good at studies though. You know, I got good marks in 11th and 12th. I was topper in the school. So naturally, like when you're good at studies, the way it worked at during our days at least was if you're good at studies, you take science. So I took science. Now in science, I had a choice between doctor or engineer. And in my case, my father was a doctor and my sister was studying to be a doctor. And I could see that to become a doctor, you have to go through this rote process of studying, and which was something I was very incapable of. So that's how engineering became the first choice. I was also like one of those tinkerers, good at computers. So engineering was natural. Got through IIT. And so IITs, you're blessed with like 2.5 months of summer holidays and 1.5 months of winter holidays. And within the first holiday, I realized that like sitting at home is very boring for me. Right. So that was sort of one part where like within 5 days, I was like, what am I doing? I have nothing to do at home. The second part was where I really wanted to earn a lot of money. I thought we were poor, right? So I wanted to get rich quick. So, so that's how I decided to basically start doing part-time job. So one of my friends, he was working with this agency who would get you sort of, like at fates, there are these people standing who are like, sir, can you do this, that, etc. So I got one of the first jobs like that. I honestly lasted it for barely 2 days. And then I went through this guilt phase of my first ever job in life. I'm not even lasting for 2 days. What will happen to me, right? And then like this whole, we are poor. What will happen to me? I'll as I grow up, like moment when sort of I move out of house, I won't have anything to eat. Kind of overstated, exaggerated fears, but that's how you are as kid. Uh, Went back, worked in another role, and in another role, and throughout IIT, ended up doing a lot of part-time work. Each summer, each winter holidays, I was working a lot of part-time jobs. These sort of so I worked with what was starting up as Absolute Data then. Now they're like a big company. There was another magazine I worked with. A lot of them used to call me for part-time job also. So throughout my idea, I was also working part-time. I was doing these like extended BPO sorts with a doctor in US where I was helping him search properties. Like all of these were checks in the bank account. So I earned a lot, right? Like throughout IIT. So after that, like I think once I got into IIT, I've never taken money from home. Good experience, a lot of startup experience.
And it also kept you busy, I guess, right?
It kept me busy and busy in a manner which I really enjoyed. I think I know it sounds very uncool, but like I enjoyed being busy. I enjoyed doing those tasks. Uh, Honestly, whiling away random time was something which like I was very uncomfortable with. Uh, Again, I was good at studies, got good marks. Come the final year, uh, my CV was super awesome. So
Yeah.
one of the side effect of this was CV was super awesome, and I got one of the best jobs on campus. Right, so this was during that time with Capital One. It was the one of the few companies which was giving you a global job, dollar salary. So I was all sorted, right? Like I found the magic card which allows me to get over this what I thought was we were poor. All my friends were giving IIM-A entrance exam, so they were giving CAT.
Okay.
And you know how you are in engineering colleges, you have this herd mentality. So I said, okay, form looks like cheap enough. I'll fill the form at least. Let's see what will happen. They all ended up joining like a coaching class to get through IIM-A. I looked at the fee. I said, मुझे तो job ही करना है.
And which coaching class was that?
Actually, I'm not even sure. So I didn't join them.
Okay.
I want to say it was CareerNet, but I could be wrong. Actually, don't count there. I'm not sure. But they joined one of the coaching classes. I didn't join them because I was like, क्यों खर्च करूँ इतना मेरा तो job ही है. But all of them would go to the coaching class. They'll come back. They'll sit and solve like CAT mock papers. Yeah. They'll study. All my friends were doing that. I would sit next to them. And I found the CAT papers to be very interesting, right? They have these like
the logical reasoning.
The logical reasoning, maths. Okay, I know it's uncool, but I enjoy maths. And especially because you said bomb is ticking. Please don't stress yourself out. Have fun while doing this. Stress is not good for exams. Yeah. Throughout my exams, I used to go play badminton and whatnot. Thoda relax kar lo yaar. Like, I think in the day, if you keep the book down for an hour and do some relaxation or do some things that you like, it won't change your like that 1 hour of reading won't make you a rock star, right? So, but that relaxation will. So please do that. Don't take bomb ticking so seriously. Sorry to cut you there. Back to you.
No problems. So, anyways, Pranay, thank you so much for joining us, and it was a pleasure having you. And all the best to all of you. Again, if you want any kind of help from us, please do contact on our from the details given on the video description. You can always be in touch with Pranay and connect with him on LinkedIn. All the profile details has been given. And last announcement for the people who have already filled up the profile evaluations. I have completed all of them. If you are filling up right now, please give us 24 to 48 hours to evaluate your profile. It takes a bit of a time. So yeah, that's it. All the best for you guys. If you need any help, let me know. And thank you, Pranay, again. And thank you so much for watching our show. Good night.
Good night. Super like entertaining होना चाहिए, and every day you should wake up thinking, wow, आज तो मेरे को ऑफिस जाना है and this and that, right? I agree, job shouldn't be something where you feel like super bored in, but at the same time, I honestly also feel like if job was something which was this exciting, right? Ki every day like it feels like an adventure, then the company shouldn't be paying you, right? When you go bungee jumping, you pay the bungee jumping guy,
Yeah.
right? So अगर इतना ही interesting होता तो तुम कंपनी को पे करो ना काम करने के लिए. ऐसा नहीं है, right? Jobs, there is an element of boredom in jobs. What you need to work at is to figure out that boredom element is like only 20% and not 90%. The company is also paying you to be an expert, right? So a lot of times when people within 1-2 years feel like, oh, I'm not enjoying as much, is because they feel मेरा learning कम हुआ है. Obviously होगा यार तेरे को, right? हर महीने नई नई चीजें सिखानी पड़ेगी, तो again मैं तेरे को फिर like end में तो you have to get productive, right? And whatever I'm teaching you, you have to start implementing it.
Yeah.
And as you implement, you'll get to learn, but the pace of learning will change. So I think that's the second part. And the third part, that no doubt investment banking is the scenario, is it is one of super high paying, but what comes with it is super hard work, very odd hours. During deal time, it takes a big toll. But probably that's why investment bankers do retire early also, right? So that's a choice you're taking. Be conscious of that and think accordingly.
And how about like the IIT days? Like you have yourself said that you have done a lot of projects, you've written a lot of papers and done a lot of research. So did any time the IIT Delhi experience come into practice when it comes to during the times in IIM Ahmedabad, or maybe when you were working in Lehman and Brothers or in your life?
So again, similar analytic skills, a lot of math skills I learned there. Just this like computer skills I've used at IT. I learned quite some coding. Even during my part-time jobs, this like one job did teach me this ability to go out, talk to people, communication skills. Uh, my job with Absolute Data taught me amazing Excel. Uh, a lot of that I used a lot, right? But I mean, I did study electrical, and if you're asking me like how does a motor work was useful, no, that wasn't.
That wasn't useful. But after Lehman Brothers, so in 2007 you left Lehman Brothers, 2007, 2008 you were in Lehman Brothers, and that was the same time when the financial crisis happened actually, and it actually took a toll. And Lehman Brothers was a company that actually got very much affected. So how did you decide to actually switch your career from the investment banking part to a different kind of arena into entrepreneurship? Was that one of the reasons, or why did you decide that okay, finally it's enough, I don't want to do it anymore, I want to go for an entrepreneurship career?
So that's something which also kind of happened to me. So I was in equity markets, and Indian equity markets, I think still at that time also used to close at 3:30.
Yeah.
And as a trader, honestly, you've sort of closed the deals, you've sent all the information to your compliance team. 4 o'clock, you're done, right? So my boss used to leave at 4, or I used to leave at like 4-5, and then my rest of the day was empty. I mean, in case you're thinking it's a great job because you get free early, I used to start at 6:30 also. Right? But anyhow, I used to be home by 4:30. I was free, my day was empty. So one thing I did do was I used to pester my prof at IIM Ahmedabad. So you would remember I was heading the entrepreneurship cell, and IIM Ahmedabad was setting up an incubator. One of my seniors from college, Kunal, had joined back the incubator. So I used to pester him and the prof saying, I have an evening free, can I help you in some way?
This is IIM Ahmedabad Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Yes. So at that time, it was still being set up, CIE. I mean, there was a wing of CIE which functioned within IIM-Ahmedabad, but this incubation entity was still being set up. But Kunal had joined, and a lot of homework was done. So that's where I used to keep pestering them, saying how I can help. And they used to pass me these odd jobs, right? Here is a startup, help them make a business plan. Can you attend this event happening at IIT Bombay and tell us which are the good startups there? Can you talk to them about this program we are doing, right? Something like this or that. One fine day, the prof and Kunal reached out to me saying, so Kunal was planning to move on, and they said, why don't you join as a head of the incubator? So came out of the blue. Meanwhile, and I would like to make this connect, right? So I told you about how I would really wanted to earn a lot of money throughout my life. Lehman was one of like this awesome paying jobs, global salary. I was getting in Bombay, so Indian expenses, global salary. I was saving a lot. Within a few months, I realized this whole notion of I need to earn a lot was very misguided. I needed to earn. I'm not saying but we weren't as poor as I thought. Second, a few of these things which money had to solve, like within 2 months of saving, it solved that. And after that, all the money was going into savings. Also, you would recognize this is the first time in my life I was living on my own. So first time I understood how much money is how much, right? Because first time I rent दे रहा हूँ, first time मैं ये सब कर रहा हूँ, तो मेरे को पता चला कि यार अच्छा within say 50,000 रुपए I can live the lifestyle I need to, right? And hence if I'm earning say 2 lakhs, the 1.5 lakh is going in saving, and I was able to do this math, right? Ki the amount of money I've saved.
I just want to ask you one simple question, because MBA is a very expensive course, obviously, and a lot of people take up a loan. Actually, most of the people take up a loan. It's also a lot of beneficial because of tax returns and all. So, did you actually fund your education yourself? Did you take up a loan, or it was?
So I did take up a loan. Let's see iska hota kya hai, right? But do these investments grow? Do these entrepreneurs grow? So I was stuck there for good 4.5 years also. Got a scholarship. Then I started thinking also honestly during our time खुद का कुछ करने के लिए आया था, what next, right? So the combo of and that's where this itch of again कुछ खुद का करना started. Evaluate and then global evaluated a few results. I was very excited about agri processing. Went and saw
what you're trying to say is if you still manage to actually
couple of startups which we incubated at IIM-A, I found very interesting where I thought of I might join them as a co-founder. But meanwhile, Varun, who's now my co-founder here, he started thinking 91.
I should not follow my dreams.
So actually, I didn't start 91. Yeah, Varun definitely got together, and they were thinking within this. So, and a lot of it is also about the risk you're willing to take, right? The example we're talking of and what you just asked me is about managing risk. So honestly, people might think that I took a lot of risk, but if you really look at it, I did a very good might not be thinking that it's not as risky. And then he I managed my risk very added me to his advisory group. That's not the only way to go. And you can go the other sort of started taking my help. My co-founder in 91. He was a friend. Varun. I started helping him. And taking risk is one thing led to another. He said, why don't you join me full time? Many people have taken the risk where they would have a loan also and they're stuck also, but they believe in their idea. Meanwhile, I decided to take a sabbatical to figure out what I want to do. That's also an option. Took sabbatical, went to Delhi. But that said, if you are risk averse, in Delhi, met Varun, somewhat risk averse, 2 days went to office and decided you can do the calculation, justify risk. Because there was this certain feeling there. It was partly to do with I just jumping and taking risks. I think this is what I've been doing. I'm good at it. So my calculation was also with Varun Anand. These are the various sort of known them for a long time. I've covered it through. There was a certain history to our relationship. The rest of the savings can also when you interact with them, like you can see their vision. What I would have saved in 2 years in the normal job anyway, etc. So it just aligned very. Plus, when I ended up joining them, incubation offered to me to did the maths and I realized while the salary is 1/5 of what
91 Springboard actually,
my current
looking
salary,
at your story,
but it's still over
has been very interesting
what I spend otherwise.
During
so
IIM-A,
it's not like in that job I'll be spending out of my pocket. Right?
Who believe
so my savings are here.
Going together.
They're awesome savings.
Hand
it will
hand,
like it's equivalent to 2-3 years of saving.
Then just trying to
Plus,
about yourself. And
this
that's
job
like
is not
making
making me spend out of my pocket.
is that
And
what was
the
imprinted
best part
already
is
during your
I do have
MBA,
IIM
and
degree
that is
है.
something which you
और
actually
अगर मैं नहीं
used in
risk लूंगा तो
91
कौन
Spring
risk
Board,
लेगा,
because you all started as
right? I
a
know कि
funding, and then
ठीक है, मेरे को
finally
given
you all came
other
up with the
level
idea
global
as
salary in India
in
का
your
job
rest of the
maybe मिले
interviews
maybe
that
ना
okay,
मिले,
एक
but
co-working
इतना
space
job तो मिल ही
बनाते हैं
जाएगा ना,
जहाँ
in
पे
which I'll
बाकी
be
सारे
able to live a
entrepreneurs
nice
can
upper
come
middle
and
class
share their ideas.
life.
So
That's okay.
how
I
did
was happy
that
with
help
that, right?
you?
Actually, now
So
that you
that's
say
what
of
made me
it,
decide कि
all sort
okay,
of
let me
lines
leave
up.
that and join
Honestly,
IIM.
I never thought of it as क्योंकि
And
IIM में ये
I
था तो
think you
चलो
have
ये business में
helped
ऐसे
over
करते हैं.
40 startups there to scale up.
But no
and,
doubt, this whole
you were acting as a joint CEO.
I think at
So
a very core
when you're
level,
actually
right? And
looking for
if you meet Varun Anand
these
also, they're
scaling
like
up
very
of
good people.
startups,
You,
coming
you
to
know,
that
like
part,
honest people, people
what are
with
the
you,
parameters
can
on
have
which you
logical
actually
conversation.
measure a
There's
startup?
no
Like,
egos,
what
etc.
should be the
I think
A to Z of
so.
a
Again,
startup?
I don't know
in which
whether it
you
was because of
actually feel
IIM
that, okay,
friends,
this is a
IT
startup
friends,
which
it was
have
because of the way it was at
sustainability,
CIE,
which has
where they were,
some
everyone was very
some
supportive,
amount
institute
of
was supportive.
effectiveness for
So
scalability.
this whole
So
thought
how
process
do you look
around
at it?
people prosper in a
what we
positive
used to
environment.
do during
People,
incubation at 90,
if they help
at,
each other, things are great.
Ahmedabad's incubator, CIE.
And your peer
now
network
also when we look at startups
can really help
for,
you.
from investment
Right?
perspective,
This-
what I look at is
so normally
so one is the
incubation
most
is
critical part of team.
I'm a mentor.
And when
तो
I'm
मेरे
looking
पास
at
आ,
team
मैं तेरे
also,
को
what I
ज्ञान
look at is the
right? I'm not
few
saying that's bad,
critical
right? That's
things
also
to make
needed
this
and that's
business
also
a
important.
success.
And I've had a lot of
are they in the
mentors
team or
also.
not?
But what we
Right? So
realized
for
is that should be
example, if
one
it's a
part of it.
deep
The bigger part of it, like when you look at
technology-based
Silicon
AI
Valley,
startup,
that's also
then
because
does the
you're in an
founder know
environment where
coding
everyone
and
is
knows the
positive,
coding
they're
to
helping
do
each
that
other,
AI
and
part?
everyone helps you in small
Right?
ways.
Similarly, if it's a
That's what we
I don't
wanted
know,
to
like a
create,
startup
and
which
we
needs amazing
thought
amount of
that will
sales
be much
skill,
more
then
powerful
does the founder have
than
that?
running this incubator.
So that's
where we are
one
saying,
part.
"Ya, tu mere
Second,
paas
the
aa," because
drive.
each one of us will
Our
handle
sense
like
on
5
will the founders
companies.
stick with it in
So
the
that
long
means
run.
we'll be incubating
all of
15
that.
companies.
So team,
And when we were
that's
starting
like
91
1, 2,
Spring Board,
3,
we
4,
wanted
3
to
criteria.
ensure that
Team,
we are
team,
doing
team.
something which can really
Then
scale.
after that is the idea.
And so we wanted to do incubation at scale. We wanted
used
to do
look
it in a
at-
manner
so
where we're not dependent
especially
on
as an
grants.
incubator, right? You don't have
And that's
deep
where this
pockets.
model
So
of
unlike, say,
community-led
SoftBank,
incubation,
like you can't go
co-working
say,
sort of a model,
तू
works
खर्च करते रहे
brilliantly
देखा
where
जाएगा,
there are good
right?
people helping
So
each
we
other.
what we did used to
And
look at
I
is
can then
the
focus on
resources
just
that the
scaling
entrepreneur
this
has and
system
resources that
rather
we are
than
able to provide.
working with
Will
each
it take
startup
them to a
individuals.
level where they would be
And
able
of
to
course,
at
as you
least
said
to
before,
some extent
that
prove what they're doing?
resources, having the
Right?
right
Because
kind of
otherwise they'll be
people,
stuck
something
midway
you
and
used to look at
like one extreme example
when
I'll
you
take
were
is someone
actually
wants to
scaling
set up a steel factory.
startups in
उसको हम 5 लाख
in
दे
the
दूंगा तो उसको
incubation
क्या
fund,
होगा, right?
5M
Like
fund.
वो
And I
अटक ही
think
जाएगा.
91 Spring Board
So that's
has
sort of
an
a
amazing
second thing that we would
community
look
with
at.
respect to not only the members but
Resources,
also
some
the people who
amount
are
of
working in
entry
91
barrier
Spring
and
Board.
competitiveness because
The workforce that
again,
you have plays a very, very
if you don't have deep pocket, you
important
can't
role
play the game
in
of
the success story that you have
keep
built so
spending
far.
money and you
So
become a
when
winner
you
and
look,
one
when
day
you
you
hire
make
someone
money,
from
right?
91
You
Spring
want to
Board, and I'm
invest in
sure
businesses
that a lot of
which
people
have a
will be
ability
interested
to
to hire
maintain
91
certain
Spring Board
margins.
after today.
And that will come in
What do
only
you
if
look
you
at?
have
What are the
certain
characteristic
amount of
traits of
entry
a
barriers,
person,
certain
of
innovation.
a particular
So
candidate
those are
that
the
you
few
look at?
things
Who
we
do you
look at.
think would be the
And
right
a
fit for your
question to
company?
that
Sub question
as
to
an
that
employee.
rather. So these days,
So,
a lot of
So one of the
people
things
who are
we
just
look at
freshly
beyond
graduates, fresh graduates,
what
are
any
more
company
invested
otherwise
in,
might also
I
be
want
looking
to
at
have my own
is the
business,
passion.
I want to have my own startup.
So
And somehow
the majority of the role that we hire is what we call as community manager, right? This is the person who's at a hub, who's managing the
So
hub,
what I want to
who's
know
interacting with
is
the members,
MBA actually
ensuring
very, very
that the
necessary, or
experience
is
we want to
MBA
deliver as
as
91
effective
Spring
as
Board
it's
is getting
supposed to be
delivered
for
there.
actually having
And
your
we
own
want a
startup
certain
or having
culture
your own business?
in that
How
person.
effective is it?
We create a lot of culture, but we also
That's
know
a
like we
tricky
can't
question,
change
right? Like,
so a few
So,
things we look at is this.
you know how
for
we
example,
manage if and only if.
Yeah.
If you're
Think from
asking me,
other
is it if
person's
and only if? No, na?
perspective,
Like
right?
enough
Empathy.
entrepreneur.
We
Bill
look
Gates,
at
Mark Zuckerberg, like you
not
take examples. and
giving
thousands of entrepreneurs
just
who've proven
company
that
rules.
you
as
can
a
do great
answer,
entrepreneurship
right?
without
So we
that,
want our
right?
people
So
to be able to answer on the basis of why.
for
Versus saying,
being successful
you know how
in
you and me have
entrepreneurship
been like
is
on these
MBA
irritating saying necessary, no.
Where you say ye kyun hai, sir,
But-
company policy. Like, ye kya company policy?
So that's
right?
one answer.
We
right?
don't want to be like one of those companies.
Now the second
So
question
you look
is,
at like, are people like that, or they
does
think logically?
being an
Are
MBA
they willing to challenge the system?
from a
or
great institute give you a
not? And we
higher
look at
probability of
passion,
success?
right? Have they been
Probably
doing
yes.
something,
Right? Because
very
one, the way
passionately
all
about,
selection
and
processes work,
even the role
the
they're
virtue of
coming
the
in,
fact
have
that
they
you're
thought
in
about
great
it?
institute means
Or are
you
they
would have
just
gone
doing the
through
role because
tighter
job and
filter,
money?
hopefully you are better IQ,
We look at good
you're
communication
smarter,
skills. That's
all of that,
important
right?
because a lot
Hopefully.
of this is front-facing roles.
Not to say again, like this is the if and only if, right? I'm not saying
Certain
if you're in
smartness,
other institute you're not
right?
smart. You can be super
That-
smart
that
there,
is
and you
what
might have
makes
a
us
bad day.
successful.
CAT day.
And
But
right now
we're talking of
already
probabilities here.
almost all the
The
Taiwan
probability of
cities,
you being
all the
smarter
cities
because you're
are
in IIM-A is there because of the whole filtration
getting
process and the way it
right.
goes. And if you're
How are the
smarter, you'll do
diversities?
better
Do
at
you plan
entrepreneurship.
to,
That's one.
Scale it,
Second,
diversities,
because you're from
and
top
also
institute,
about
your doors will
plan
open
to
better.
go global
You'll have a better
sometime
network.
soon?
When you're pitching to someone,
So
one level
honestly, tier one, there's still
just
a lot for us to
convincing
cover.
them that you're not stupid,
We
you've
have
done
just
already,
entered Pune.
but just by showing
We're
your
going to go to
CV, right?
Chennai soon.
So it does help somewhat.
Within the cities we are in, there's
just
so
because
much
from-
of that city that we need to cover.
Just because you're from that
So
institute, will you
it's
be
not
a
like
great
work there
entrepreneur?
is
No.
done yet. There's
Right,
still a long
so-
way to go. Sorry, we started our
No
experiments
straight
on tier
answer,
two. We
but
just
I
set up
think
in,
you all
so
get
you
it.
and I are sitting in Goa right now.
Yeah.
So we've
So let's
just
talk about
set that
91
up.
Springboard right now.
We'll
91
be doing a
Springboard
couple of more
is
tier two
the
cities.
largest co-working community.
Global is on the
You guys
cards.
have events,
We were
entrepreneurial
very
events,
clear in
you
our
have a
mind once we started
dynamic
scaling up
community,
our co-working business that
of
sooner or later we
entrepreneurs
will go
and
global.
startups and corporates
But
as well.
I don't have a timeline
How
to
did
it.
this idea generate? How did
India
you
is
decide
keeping us
on
super
actually,
busy. The
putting
customers here are happy. There's a lot of
$500
depth.
and then
We understand
becoming
these markets
as a
and
co-founder of,
we want to
this
open only
dynamic
so many
community.
war fronts in one go.
Sure.
So we'll go global one day.
So when I joined the incubation
we're
center,
prepared for
honestly,
it,
the thought
but,
was I want to do some.
There's
business
still a
of
lot
my
of homework we need to do.
I didn't know what it
So, Pranay, at
means,
the
what
end of
idea,
this
etc.
video,
So I
you
thought,
have
चलो
some, good
incubator
advice
join
for
करते हैं.
the current
दूसरे
MBA
entrepreneur से बात कर रहे होंगे तो कुछ अपने को भी आ जाएगा.
how
right?
they
कुछ
should
सीख भी
prepare.
जाएंगे.
Now they have already started.
So I joined that,
plans.
and when I was joining, the thought was I'll be there for barely 2 years.
And,
और 2 साल में
this
कुछ
is
खुद
the
का
time when
करना
people are
है,
giving a
right?
lot of
Because
tests and getting the results.
I was living that like
So,
this high paying salary
any
for
piece
this,
of
तो यार
advice
ये
you want to
जिंदगी
give
भर नहीं
to
करना.
choosing the
हाँ,
these
खुद का.
schools and also
But,
how you should actually build up your
I really
career,
enjoyed
still have
what I was doing at CI. It was great learning experience.
Sure.
Worked with some really good entrepreneurs. Learned a lot from
not
them.
as much time, but best
And
of all.
also, when I was investing in this, there
on
was this
choosing
thought
these
of,
schools,
honestly, I'll say just go to the top. I think MBA as a branch, I think there's certain amount of general skills that MBA teaches you, right? And a lot of it is something that you could have learned out of books also. So the other benefits of MBA is a great network, a great alumni, door opening, like all of those are valid benefits too, right? Placements, and all of those will come to you only if you're going to the top institute.
So I would urge you to just think through that and try to have that as a key goal, right? The second one is while doing that, if you have option to build up. So a lot of times, on how to build your profile, I think people sometimes don't realize that they have passions and they haven't thought through it, right? So for example, I said like one of my passions was negotiating. I'm sure like 90% of the kids wouldn't have thought of अच्छा ऐसा भी कोई passion हो सकता है, right? When you think passion, you think like hobbies. Sports में क्योंकि मैं national खेला था मेरा passion है, नहीं खेला तो नहीं है, right? Like that's the way you think. So for me also negotiation, I thought of as a passion simply because when I was preparing for my interviews and all, my friend asked me कि यार like तू वो बहुत सोचता था, तू उसके बारे में बातें करता था. So this guy was already at IIM-A, right? And मैंने कहा अच्छा हाँ ये भी तो passion हो सकता है. And then I thought about it, and while filling the form, I wrote about negotiation was one of my passion, and because it was on the form, the interviewer asked about it. Because he asked about it, I was able to talk about it, and that was a unique thing, right? So think about what is unique about you, what is that passion, and you still have opportunity to read up, right? So once that and before the interview, I did sort of then find out more books about. So earlier I used to do this casual read up कि negotiation में कुछ देख लिया, पढ़ लिया, किसी shop में गए तो experiment कर लिया, kind of things. But after I thought अच्छा form में भी मैं लिखूंगा. I did find out 2 books. I did read about it. So to that extent, those passions might be easier to create. If you say sports is your passion, it's very hard to become like a national level swimmer like by November. But if you think through what are other things like this, skills or things like this that you are genuinely passionate about, it could be shopping, right? Like maybe you're a girl who's like kick ass at shopping. All your friends tell you that you're very good at shopping. Then go do some homework there, right? And make it into a passionate skill versus a time waster. Mummy डांटती है. Right? I think that's one trick I can give you, if sort of that you can take away.
So that's very nice. I would actually want all the students, all the MBA aspirants, and all our students, lovely students, to start taking this a bit more seriously. The bomb is already ticking. It has started ticking right from the time you started your CAT preparation. As Pranay said, know your passion, utilize it when you're filling up your application forms. Make sure you get the best out of your CAT preparation. Also, always indulge yourself in some or the other activities. As you can see, he's an epitome of who has been always busy with a lot of activities in life, and which has actually helped him to go to where he is at this point of time. One of the best, again, renowned entrepreneurs in the co-working industry. So, with that, I would like to come to an end to this session.
Wait, can I sneak in one thing?